Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to my review of the new, much anticipated Nerf Rival Hades. I was super excited when this blaster was announced because the Artemis is one of my all-time favorite blasters and my go-to for when you need to use a stock blaster for HVZ. So now that this blaster has finally been released and I have one in my hands, I want to see if the double capacity is worth overlooking some of the major issues with this blaster, but we can go over that more in a second. Inside the box, you'll get a little instruction manual, the little Rival red and blue team bands that can clip on the blaster, and 60 Rival rounds. Going over some of the features of the blaster, you have a rotating turret similar to that of the Artemis, a sling attachment point up front, a grip which is a bit bulkier than that of the Artemis and is pretty easy to grab onto. I know some people weren't a fan of the vertical priming grip, however I thought it was fine with the Artemis. I know some people replaced it angled, but I thought that this was fine, and this one also feels pretty decent to me. From what I've seen as well, this one is much easier to remove. The Artemis, you needed approximately 3 screwdrivers to remove the different pieces. However, this one, from what I've seen, does remove fairly easily. Going back to the top of the blaster, you have a standard Rival tactical rail that runs along the whole top. It's approximately half on the slider and half on the main blaster itself. Moving back a little bit, you have the slide to load the blaster, then you have the actual tubes itself. These ones have a sort of cover over the actual tubes that the Artemis did not have. It's still interesting because it looks like there's a seam right about in the middle, but the tubes are actually slightly different, so I'm not sure if they just repurposed the same machine or how that went about happening, or if it's just cheaper to produce it in 2 different sections, although the sections are different as well, so I just thought that that was something strange. Moving back towards the grip, you have a pretty standard ambidextrous safety that is featured on many of the Rival blasters that locks the trigger when it's in the down position. Up by the pump grip, there is also a release on the one side in case your priming handle gets stuck in a weird position, or if it's stuck back for whatever reason. It doesn't have anywhere to clear the balls because they'll always be towards the front, but for some reason if you're stuck priming in a weird position, you can use that to release it and unjam the blaster. Then moving to the very back, we have a additional sling attachment point, so you can put one in the front, one in the back. Then the stock, I'll go over the stock a bit more, however it's very wide and kind of short, so I'm not sure who exactly designed that, but it's kind of a weird thing. To load the blaster, simply grab the front slide, pull it all the way into the back position, and then start loading your balls into the 3 different tubes. As you can see, the feeding ramps are pretty wide and can fit up to 3 or maybe even 4 balls at a time. My blaster got an average of about 86 feet per second in stock form. That is about consistent with the other Rival blasters at around the 90 FPS mark. Overall, I think the concept for the blaster is really cool. However, there's 2 major things that really annoy me about it. The first is the size, shape, and positioning of the stock. As you can see here, it's very wide and quite short, honestly. I'd like it a little bit more if it sat a little bit lower and was a little bit deeper. Right now, whenever you put any significant pressure on it, it tends to force its way up and sort of over. So it's very annoying because when you want to shoulder the blaster like this, it tends to work its way up into a very uncomfortable position. I think that's just because the sling point they put right here takes away from the space that the stock could be using. And then my second problem with this blaster is the prime. It's not very smooth and it makes a weird ratcheting sound. It's nowhere near as smooth as something like the Artemis, where you just get the shooting action and then it's a pretty smooth prime. There's definitely a lot of ratcheting, and I'm not sure if it's because the handle and the trigger mech, and I assume the catch were moved backwards and it's using like a gear system or what have you, but I haven't opened the blaster, so I can't claim what exactly is causing that. However, that would be my guess, or there's some other mechanism in there that causes that, but it's just nowhere near as smooth as the Artemis one. So overall, I really like the concept for the blaster. One of my least favorite parts about the Artemis was that when you had to reload it, it has pretty small loading slots. So when you go to reload it during a game, that's generally when I would get tagged if I really needed it. It was great because it held more rounds than most blasters at the time. However, when you need to go reload it, it really is not a fast reloader. So this one holding twice as much ammo and having way wider reloading slots is a huge bonus in my opinion. But the major downsides being the stock and the ratcheting prime, in my opinion, sort of detract from that. I think the stock is fixable. It appears to be a separate piece of plastic actually, so I'm going to try to make a 3D printed one that actually, you know, is comfortable to use. But I can't really comment too much on the prime. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. It's just something that is mildly annoying. But I'll see when I crack it open if there's something that is causing that could be swapped out. However, I have the feeling that it's just how the priming mechanism works in this blaster. Because of the extra space between the handle and the grip, there's some kind of ratcheting mechanism that is used in that that probably can't be removed, at least easily. So overall, for the price point of $70, which I believe is the market retail value, it's an interesting blaster. I'm not sure if it's going to be replacing the Artemis anytime soon, because I think they're really different play styles. The Artemis is more of a runaround and very light and easy to maneuver. This is definitely much larger and heavier. So a blaster like the Hades would be perfect for holding an area for an extended period of time. You know, maybe throw a sling on it, and I could see myself definitely using it. However, if I end up running around a lot, which I kind of do, I would definitely choose the Artemis over that, just because of how much lighter and more maneuverable it is. So I don't see this blaster replacing the Artemis anytime soon. In fact, the opposite. I see this as a great complement to people that love the Artemis and like to maybe have a higher ammo capacity, maybe don't want to reload as often and don't mind the extra size. This would be a great option for those players. However, if you still want something light to run around with, the Artemis is a fantastic option as well, and it might even be on sale now that this blaster has been pretty much released. So I'm definitely curious to see what you guys have to say about this blaster. Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any thoughts or ideas. I think I'm going to work on a 3D printed stock replacement to sort of fix my major issue with the blaster, and then we'll crack it open and see if there's anything you could do about the grip. As always guys, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in another video.